Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So before starting, could you please confirm if we are audible and visible correctly, and is everything fine so we can start with the session? And let me tell you, today's session, it is going to be uh, a lot of it is with a lot of important key takeaways that you're going to take away from this session. So but before that, we just have to take care that if everything is fine or not, so that we can start with it. And whatever doubts you have, here we are going to address all of them. So I can see live students are there, 5 live students are there. So if we can have some thumbs up or something telling about if everything is fine. Here I can see a lot of chat, but I think that's among themselves. So we'll just wait for a minute to look at the response. Yeah, so Hani Kumari, she says everything is fine. She has given a thumbs up. Thank you so much for the confirmation. So hello everyone, welcome to the topper session that we take with all the toppers. And in this success story session, we take all the key takeaways that the topper has had during his preparation journey, and they share the best strategy that suited for them, and they might be helpful for you all. So today we have one such topper with us. His name is Mr. Vinay Salvi, and he has recently cleared RBI Grade B 2022 examination, and he's soon to join RBI as manager. And let me tell you, if we look at his background, so he has a rich academic background, as well as he had worked also. He has given a lot of attempt. He has given many attempts of RBI just because he was dedicated for that. And as it is always said that whatever study that you are doing, it never goes on waste. So that was followed for him. So hello sir, welcome to EduTap, and thank you so much for taking out some time for the aspirants who would be watching the session.
Thank you, madam.
So first of all, let's start with the session because we have already been delayed so much. So sir, we'll start with your academic qualification, and at what point did you feel like that you now have to prepare for RBI and you started preparing for it?
So in terms of academic background, so till 8th standard, I studied in Marathi medium. After that, in semi-English medium till 10th. In 11th, 12th, I chose for the science stream. After 12th, I was lucky enough, I will say, to get into IIT Bombay. I did BTech in engineering physics in IIT Bombay from 2011 to 2015. But in third year itself, I have decided that I will appear for the CAT. So from 2015 to 17, I did my PGDM from IIM Lucknow. From IIM Lucknow, I got to the campus placement in TCS as an assistant business analyst. So I joined TCS in August 2017. I worked there till February 2021. So I have a 3.5 years experience. So in between my TCS career, in 2018, actually, I appeared for the RBI first time. I got to know about that RBI in my PGDM course itself, but I was not aware of the what is the recruitment process and etc. That I got to know in 2017. So after exploring 1 year at TCS, I decided that I will appear for the RBI Grade B exam. So I appeared in 2018. So I given 4 attempts. So it was an incremental progress in each stage for me. So I will say the only serious attempts were 2020 and 2020, 2019 and 2021, where I actually dedicatedly prepared for RBI while working. So I have experienced both the stages, appearing for the exam while working and also dedicatedly for a particular exam by taking off. So that's what I will say.
Actually, I saw one text that there is sound issue, so I was just checking that. Sorry if I felt like I was not listening. I was listening to you, and I want to say that you're very humble to say that you got lucky enough, because it needs a lot of hard work to get into IITs and IIMs. So, sir, as you said about that, you have given some attempts for RBI, and in that the syllabus also changed, And as you have been before to IIT IM and then continuously not, you're appearing for something and not getting through it, what was your feeling about that, about both the things of giving multiple attempts as well as of the pattern and the pattern change that occurred in RBI?
Okay. So about the multiple attempts, what I will say is that the first time when it appeared, it was a big shock for me because I expected to clear the prelims easily, but that was a shock and a learning because any aspirants who is appearing for a competitive exam like RBI Grade B or any other exam has to understand the demands of the examination and each stage of demand and each section. So I lacked that in my particular first attempt. So I will not say that demotivated me. It actually was an eye opener for me. So I took it as an eye opener, and in next three attempts, I never failed at prelims. I was comfortably clearing the cutoff. Okay, so that was the lesson I took. And in terms of what was the other question? Sorry.
No, no issues. Other question was when the pattern changed. So you've been
Yes.
dedicatedly preparing for one set of pattern and suddenly it changed and now you have to change your whole strategy. So how was that feeling? What was your thinking at that point of time?
Okay. So the pattern change, I will say that it didn't affected a lot. Yes, initially when the notification came in 2021 with the new pattern, there was a let's say there was some fear in my mind. So how I am going to let's say type the 600 word or 300 word answer and etc. and how we have to face. But if a particular aspirant is very much clear, so before 2014, the particular exam was in a descriptive mode, entire descriptive mode. So I have gone through that previous year papers, and then also after 2021 success stories, I got to know that who are the people who are getting success in this particular exam. What is the majority background of the people? So most of them were having UPSC background. So I decided that okay, so UPSC is something that actually trains you for the answer writing. So let's try. I have gone through the proper answer copies of UPSC model answers, and I have gone through them. What are the types of answers they are writing? And I tried to imbibe that in myself, and I tried to implement it in the RBI. So that helped. 2021, I was able to write it so that I was there in the interview list, but I did not score very much in phase two. So did not I was not able to clear the final cutoff. In 2022, I improved on that, and fortunately, the scores are not out. I don't know how much I am scoring in each subject, but I am sure that mostly descriptive is the one area which actually helped to score good marks.
Right. So that's a very important key takeaway, as most of the aspirants they dread that they have to compete with the UPSC aspirants. But what you did, you just you became one, so that you can compete with them, and that's very important because you cannot control who your competitors are going to be. But what you can do, you can always level up the game. So that was you followed, and it's a very important key takeaway. Here I can see one question that is of Aditi. We talked about the pattern change, and that is why she has asked that is does the pattern it changes regularly. So see Aditi, it's not like that it always changes, but yes, past 2 years, before 2 years they have changed the pattern. Now they have added descriptive in second phase. Initially it was just all objective, and sir has beautifully defined that no matter if it's objective subjective, he is example live here, that if your basics are clear and you have prepared thoroughly with the syllabus that has been provided, you can execute it in any form. You may have to then push hard a bit maybe because of the change of the pattern, but still whatever knowledge that you have attained, it is going to be of use. So that what we have a brief idea about your journey. Now let's come to phase 1, and here we have quant, reasoning, English, and then we have general awareness, which constitute of the maximum marks. So what was your strategy? We'll start with QRE and then we'll move ahead and talk about general awareness.
Yes, ma'am. So for QRE, everyone has to remember that you just have to clear the sectional cutoff and overall cutoff. So in terms of QRE, the quant and reasoning section, what is my particular observation is quant and reasoning section is going tougher and tougher each year. So specifically, if we take the case of quant, so this year I only solved 5 questions and I was able to clear the sectional cutoff of the quant. So the suggestion for the aspirants will be In quant, go through the previous question that I have done that, and then just analyze 4 or 5 topics which are repeatedly coming in the exam. And there also, let's say there is a cost benefit is also more. Means while putting minimum efforts, you are able to gain the maximum marks. That type of questions you have to solve. So just to name a few of the questions, but this is not the exhaustive list. That like the questions, word problems like time and speed, or work time, or the age, ratio proportion, simple interest, compound interest. These are the particular areas which you should focus. And the particular 2022 experience shows that they are now combining the multiple topics in a particular one question. So you should be prepared for the surprises. And you have to just ensure that out of 30 questions, find out the 5 to 10 easy questions and solve them, and then you are through, but you are going to clear the sectional cutoff. This is for the quant. For the reasoning, uh, my particular strategy in each attempt was that I will leave the puzzles at the end. I will solve the syllogism or direction sense or alphabetical order or coding type questions first, and then I will solve 1 or 2 puzzle, whatever time is remaining, if possible. So particular approach for keeping out the puzzles at the last is you have to find out the easiest puzzle among the 4. And if you are stuck in, let's say, a particular puzzle at the start, then you will spend 10 to 10 minutes or etc. time. And that will, if you are not able to crack it, then you have loosened the time, and you will also get the pressure of not solve, let's say, 4 5 questions.
True.
So if you keep it at the end, then it will help. In terms of English, so English preparation, English paper is generally easy. Scoring 20 plus marks in English at any whenever you are giving attempt is easy, provided you have a particular some preparation level. So for English, for preparing grammar, I refer to the Nimisha Bansal madam's grammar rules, 120 grammar rules, and that helped me. And also the regular reading of newspaper, or let's say any English book, novel or fiction or whatever type, that will definitely help to grow your vocabulary, your understanding. And in English also, I used to follow a particular strategy. The passage question, I used to solve it at the end. I used to solve all other questions initially, and in the end, I will solve the reading comprehension question. And English, I always try to attempt 30 out of 30 questions. If there is any very particular difficult question, then I will leave 1 or 2 questions. So, a person who is having a good enough basic preparation can actually target to score more in English rather than quant and reasoning.
Right. It's true. In quant and reasoning, study enough just to clear the cutoff. And for to clearing the cutoff, sir has suggested some topics that you can practice before the examination. And now, sir, if we talk about general awareness, so what were the sources you preferred? And here I'm looking one question that is of Lohit Krishna. Also, he's asking that of how many months have you covered the reports and schemes for ESI part? That would be somewhat for both phase 1 and phase 2, because that would somewhat be a part of GA as well, but then in phase 2 also, so you can add the answer of that as well.
Specifically answering, specifically answering the question of how many months you have to cover. So what I followed is this question is asked multiple times on EduTap platform also, and Ritika madam and other madam are actually giving this answer repeated time, but still the aspirants will ask. So my particular case, I will say I tried to cover for 4 to 6 months. I will not say I have definitely covered 6 months or 4 months, but I tried to cover from 4 to 6 months, and any particular source we will be fine. So what I tried to follow is I tried to go through the marathon sessions which are conducted just before the exam from the EduTap to just have a quick revision. And another source in terms of my preparation this year 2022, I followed a Rao's IAS Study Circle's Daily Hindu Analysis DNA to prepare for, let's say, whatever current happenings are there. And I tried to relate it with the ESI and FM portion of the RBI Grade B. So that was my particular source. And in terms of revisions, I will say the marathon sessions will help. And that is the particular thing. The extension of that particular time period is depending upon the time availability of a particular aspirant. You can cover for 1 year to be very much safe sure. But from my observation, if you are able to cover for 6 months, that will be enough to ensure to have a good confidence. If they are going to ask something from 2 years before, 1 year before, then one cannot do anything. But for our mental satisfaction, I will say 6 months period, reports and etc. is enough.
Right. So, sir, there's one question of Adarsh also that currently going on for that he's asking for general awareness. There are two more questions, but that's of quant reasoning, so we'll address it later. So, Adarsh is asking that did you cover PIB news separately, or it was just the Rao's IS the videos that you used to see?
So I will say I did not refer the PIB website separately, but I covered that particular section through the revision module only, marathon sessions. Like EduTap also conducts the marathon session of PIB news and etc. So that I tried to cover it from one of the YouTube source to ensure that I am covering it. But I did not visit the PIB website. I just downloaded the PIB summary of the budget and economic survey that I gone through from the actual source, original source, and actually PIB summary. That I actually tried.
Right. Okay. So, sir, there's two question. One is from Aditi. She asked for the quant that there are 30 questions. So, how much question should a aspirant attempt, minimum attempt should have, so that they can clear the cutoff?
So
Yeah.
from the observation of last 4 years, my attempt, the sectional cutoff for quant is ranging between 5 to 10. So what I will advise is you have to find out the 10 to 15 simple question in quant, and that you will be definitely, and you have to ensure that you are ensuring 100% accuracy. So there is no issue of negative marking.
True.
So I will give 10 to 12 is the number that you should target, but that should be with 100% accuracy.
Right. And along with that, it also depends on the difficulty level at that particular year. It can happen that the examination difficulty level for math section it is quite high. So even the less number of attempts, they can still sail you through to the minimum cutoff would be there that for quant. And another question is of Siba, how many puzzles had come in the examination and how many you attempted? So, is there a range particular that okay, this much puzzles will come only, or that just depends? Sometime it can be more, sometime it can be less.
So from my particular observation of 4 attempts, I will say I think minimum 3 puzzle set will be there. Okay. But I don't remember I have solved any puzzle in my exam because I generally focused on the other problems to get the minimum cutoff score. Maybe in this year, I just don't remember as of now. Maybe I have solved one puzzle, but puzzle thing is very much time consuming. That is my observation. In practice session, I tried, but let's say solving that particular puzzle in let's say 5 to 10 minutes in the exam like situation is not possible for everyone. So if you have very much good practice, then you can target, let's say out of there are 4 puzzles, out of which one puzzle is let's say only having 3 variables or 2 variables. That is hardly a case, but if there are 3 variable puzzle is there, that you can target to solve first and get the minimum required attempt from the other questions which are very much easy, syllogism or alphabetical series, number series, or direction sense. These things are very much easy, or Chinese coding, so that you can target.
Right. So, Jashri sir has already answered that for quant reasoning, he attempt more mock tests because he had a somewhat because of his background, he had a basic understanding of quant reasoning. So he referred mock test and he also looked at previous year papers to analyze the topics from which maximum question are asked. And for current affairs portion, for analytical view, he followed the Rao's IAS YouTube channel, the editorial portion that comes. So by that, so we have covered all the questions and we have talked about phase one very comprehensively. Now let's move to phase two. Now in phase two, we have now descriptive added. So first of all, what were the sources you preferred? We would want to know, and all the aspirants who are watching currently live, they would want to know. And along with that, during that phase one and phase two, what was your strategy? Did you just pick some selective topics and you kept on revising them, or you kept you revised all the syllabus?
Yes. So I will give the clarity of my particular this year attempt 2022. So my particular schedule was very much tight because of 28th May I had a prelims, 5th June I had a UPSC prelims, 15th June I had a SEBI interview in Mumbai. and 25th June, I had a RBI Grade B mains in Pune. So in this year particular attempt, I was very much packed in terms of time. So what I will say is my particular preparation of 2021 attempt actually helped me in this year. So in last from 2020 to 2021, I had purchased a particular course from one coaching institute. I referred that in that particular attempt very seriously. And this year, I selectively referred to the material and I tried to utilize my uh, preparation for other competitive exam effectively in the descriptive part of this year's RBI Grade B. So that was my particular attempt. That was my particular strategy for this year.
Right. So it's very important whenever you are studying, we should do it thoroughly, because it can happen that you are relying for after after phase one, you'll start preparing for phase two, but then you do not have time for any certain reason. So it's very important to start preparing for phase two since your phase during your phase one preparation as well, so that you do not have to face any obstacles later on. So, sir, that is about the sources that you have shared, but also about how to write a descriptive answer. So, there is something that you would say to the aspirants that at least include these things in your writing that would help you to frame a better answer.
Yes. So after the results, many actually aspirants contacted me for the descriptive answer strategy. So this is the particular my understanding what is the requirement of the descriptive answers, and I will later tell everyone how they can actually get more idea about it. So particularly descriptive answer, whatever question is there, if you have to take the question of this year's management question, so what are the barriers to the communication for the manager? That was the question asked in this year's paper. So this is a particular theoretical topic. Everyone is going to read it in the management section. There are different types of barriers: semantic barriers, physical barriers, or other barriers. So here you have to list down, but the important thing is how you will actually represent that answer in that particular typing section there. So better you actually give a brief introduction when you start your answer. What is the communication? What are the elements of communication? And after that, give the name of the barrier and the way to tackle it, and in the end some comprehensive conclusion that will help. So in any descriptive answer, the IBC format, that is introduction, body, conclusion, if you are able to follow it correctly in every way, then that particular answer will be more appealing for the examiner. And if you structure the answer in terms of points, that will be very much help. Means you have to give headings or subheadings, because the bold part or let's say italic part, that is not means achievable in that particular setup. But if you can give the numbering and etc., then in terms of appearance of the answer, it will be much more appealing for the examiner. And you have to ensure that before writing the answer, you make your draft of the answer on the paper, so that there are no points which are missing, because in that particular setup, adding anything in between the lines is very much difficult. So before starting the answer, you frame the draft on the rough paper which is given, and then start typing the answer. And in terms of the word limit, if there is a 600 answer word, so you have to try that you are writing at least above 500. This year's attempts, I tried to fulfill that particular within that particular range each answer, except the one answer which was very much short. But whatever word limit is given, try to be as much close as possible.
Right. So, sir, here from this, Devansh has asked one question. So, of that, two things that one thing you have already answered that about that you wrote. He has asked that have you written para-wise or point-wise? So, you suggest aspirants to write it point-wise. But another thing that he asked, first of all, he want to know about how the computer interference it looks like. How is there timer that is present there, or the word count? How do you know that how much word count have you written yet? And also he talks about how you highlight things if you want the examiner to know about a particular word or maybe a sentence. How did you highlighted that thing?
So first of all, the highlighting and etc. facility is not available in that particular setup, so you cannot do that. In terms of the word counts, whenever you type the word, it will show you what how many words you have typed. So that counter is there. And to have a better experience, what I will advise that, if possible, then appear for the mocks on any platform. So I will say in 2021, I had taken the descriptive, let's say, Mahamock session of the EduTap whole entire day. So there you will get the entire simulation of that particular exam, and it will help you how that actual exam environment will be there. So it will help to understand how you can write, if the counter is there or not. So that particular clarity will be there.
Right. So, others, she asked that what is the ideal time that should take to complete an answer? I think this would be better suited the aspirants who are as a beginner. Like, what should be that ideal time, or they should constrain themselves so that they can, during examination, they can have proper time for to dedicate to all the answers.
So there is a descriptive test is for 90 minutes, and you have to write four answers. Two answers 15 markers, and two answers 10
10
markers.
marks.
So depending upon the mark, you can mathematically calculate. So what I will say is that 60 minutes for the 15 marker answers and 30 minutes for the 10 marker answer, that you can distribute. But the thing is, it also depends upon if you go and you saw all the six questions, then you have to decide what are the four questions which you will be targeting in that particular section, and how much preparation you have in terms of that particular four questions. So if
True.
there is any question which you have predicted and it appeared in the exam, then you will take less time for solving that particular question, and you can utilize the extra time for another question which is like surprise for you, and you have to think a lot for getting the points. So it is subjective, but you can divide like this, means 60 minutes for the 15 marker answer, two questions, and 10 marker questions, 30 minutes. That way you can divide. In terms of marks, you have to divide your time.
True, and that's rightly said that you have to prepare pretty well before the examination, because time constraint. Because if you go to examination and all questions are unfamiliar to you, you are going to take more time on that. So here Aditi is asking, is RBI Grade B a CBT test? Yes, it is computer based test for both phase 1 and phase 2. The descriptive also you have to type. Devanshu, Devanshu is asking about कि आपको इतना time कैसे मिला? So he has been preparing for 2-3 years now, and then after first of all he prepared along with the job, and after that he left the job and he dedicated all his time to clear the examination, and that is how he cleared that. Right. So, one more thing that is a common doubt for aspirant, that should they stick to one source and keep on revising, or for to be in the safe side and to have gather all the material, they can refer to 2-3 sources.
So my particular advice will be, uh, you can have any particular base source as a like your main source, but whenever you are taking mock or etc., you can shift from that particular source and give the mocks of different institution or different free mocks, because it will help to check the coverage. So I followed this particularly for my this year's UPSC preparation. I wholly relied on the Rouse IS in terms of my content preparation, but I appeared for the Vision IS. So
Okay.
that particular strategy actually helps in your RBI grade B also. You can stick to one particular syllabus or one particular source, but while you are giving mocks and etc., you can shift to the other, because it will also give you the clarity how much lengthwise, breadthwise coverage is there, and how much you are able to retain. Because basically, question or general awareness or whatever sections are there, basic syllabus for every institute is same, on which they will frame the question, but the differentiating factor will be they will focus on a particular topic, another will focus on different topic, so it will be helpful.
True. So that's, we have talked about ESI and FM. Now, if we talk about the English paper for phase 2, so what kind of questions are expected in English paper? Because see, in ESI and FM we have a defined genre. Okay, that this is the subject, so questions are from this only. And usually, if in ESI, if we talk about something that is in news, but if we talk about English specifically, what can be the topics that can be asked in an essay?
So English also, the essay section is that which is, we can say, we can predict or we can prepare in advance. The precise and the RC section is, you just have to understand in what format you have to write the answer, and you have to just whatever passage is there, on basis of that you have to attempt that. But for English, there, as we are appearing for, let's say, RBI grade B, So you can expect one of the topic from the economic or finance section in that particular 4 or 5 topic list. And this year, I actually attempted the essay on the one sun, one world, one grid. That was means what are the different sources of energy and why the new renewable sources are very much important. That was a topic which I attempted. So I had a material prepared because environment or let's say renewable energy is one of my interest area. So I had read lot of things about it. So I wrote an essay on that particular topic. In terms of preparation, before the exam, in EduTap also the English faculty will give you the what are the probable 10-20 topics. I have gone through that topics, and if possible, you can just jot down, highlight, or let's say 5-10 pointers like facts or etc., which you want to include. And other things is in English, they will be only checking your how good you are able to communicate your ideas. So you have to ensure that there are no grammatical mistakes. You are writing the short sentences, and you are able to communicate in a good structured format. If you are able to ensure that in essay, so that will fetch you enough marks.
Right, because that's the English paper we are giving. So the grammatical mistakes that are not acceptable there. So, sir, there's one more interesting question, but I'll keep that short because there's a lot of sub questions in that. So, how many hours did you dedicate in a day for your examination?
So as I told earlier also, in 2022, I was preparing for multiple exams. So I cannot give an exact thing. But I will say if a particular student is preparing for full time for any particular exam, so 6 to 8 hours daily is minimum requirement, which is required because you cannot study for 24 hours. You
True.
need some rest and etc. And that is the only time spent with focus study you will be able to do. So 6 to 8 hours is there. When I was working, actually, I was giving 9 hours, 9 to 10 hours at the office. And then on daily basis, I was able to only give 1 or 2 hours daily
True.
maximum. And on Saturday, Sunday, I was trying to cope up my particular backlog. So on Saturday, Sunday, I was giving 8 to 10 hours. So that was my particular schedule. So I have experienced both. So for people who are preparing for exams wholeheartedly and they are not having job, so they can try if you are preparing one single exam, 6 to 8 hours, that is maximum. But it's not like you are just sitting in front of the laptop and your mind is not there in that
True.
particular session or etc. You can break it in let's say 1 hour gap. You can take 30 minutes break. But whatever you are doing, you should do it with focus.
True. And I think that also depends on how much time is it left for the examination and how much prepared are you. So if you're starting from the scratch, so of course that would require a little more efforts than the ones who have past experience and they are now revising it, right? So, sir, by this, I think we have comprehensively covered phase two strategy for all the aspirants who are currently watching it live. Now, let's move to the interview section. So, sir, how was it? We would like to know about your experience about the panel. Was it cordial or not? How was it?
So I appeared for interview in 2021 attempt also and 2022 also. So I will say a particular opinion which forms in the minds of the aspirant is depending upon what are his expectations from the interview at that time. So in 2021, my opinion formed was okay. So that is very much strict. They are grilling or etc. But in 2022, I will not say that. So overall, my understanding is the interview panel, what is looking in a RBI Grade B aspirant or let's say future officer is they want to look in difficult situation how you are able to convey your ideas, how confidently you are able to say your views. So that is the particular understanding. Because in this particular year's interview, they actually chairman started with the thing that this is a test of your personality, not your knowledge. He said it before starting the interview, and he said that just present yourself in a best way. There should be no negative things spoken by you yourself about you this in this interview. So that is the way because they want to check your integrity and they want the confident answers. So in this year's interview experience, I had some questions where I was not able to answer. So I tried initially, but once I was sure that I am not able to give the correct answer, I politely said, sorry, sir, I have no idea about it, or I don't recall it right now. So they moved on the next question. So they did not grill or etc. So overall, it was a nice experience. And in terms of preparation for the interview, uh, I had given mock interviews at EduTap last year and this year for SEBI, last year for RBI Grade B. That was the very much helpful experience, I will say, because the T. Raja sir, who were the panel member last year and this year also for SEBI and interview, and also I registered for the interview guidance program of the EduTap, where Ritika madam and Anchit sir had given for each section, for biodata section, other sections, how you have to prepare or how you have to form or from what sources you have to prepare. That particular details are given, and in the end, the preparation will do. Everyone will do the preparation, reading or going through the website and etc. But when you are delivering the answer, the passion should be displayed, and that passion will only come when you are giving some extra mail. Like this year's SEBI interview guidance program, Anchit sir had suggested that you should read the books which are written by the chairman. So I had read the book of GN Vajpayee about his journey as a chairman. So in the end, I was not able to get selected in the SEBI, but I will say that that particular reading helped me to broaden my horizon, that everything will help in the end. That's what I want to convey.
True, that's true. So, sir, were the questions that were asked, were they technical or did they ask personal questions as well?
In my case, I will say they covered entire horizon of the biodata form. The questions were related to RBI, related to myself, and also related to my work experience. What was my responsibility? And also some questions related to RBI's history, why it was formulated, and like that. So it was like everything which is related or generally suggested for a preparation. Like whenever you are preparing for interview, you have to know yourself, because from that section you will be getting question. Second, you should know the organization which you are going to join, that is RBI, and general current affairs. In my case, current affairs were not asked that much, except the first question, which was the extempore, where actually chairman asked me to describe about the India's current GDP growth or etc. because latest numbers were out at that time. So that was the particular case.
Right, right. So this was about your interview experience, and here Aditi is asking something about she is preparing for RBI Grade B 2023. So she's asking that when is the right time to start? See, one thing is right now is the right time to start, but yes, you can divide. I think sir would also agree that you can divide the preparation, that currently you can prepare for the static portion because you know that is not going to change, and as sir has said during the phase 1 strategy also, that 4 to 6 months current affair, it is quite enough to get through the phases. So currently you can start with static portion, and then whenever examination, it probably it would be in April only, somewhere around April, May. So what you can do at that time, you can prepare for the current affairs, and currently you can focus on static. And if you want to know more about the strategy, you can always drop a mail to us. You can find that in our website, and then we can have a strategy call as well. So sir, I think we have covered comprehensively everything. So it was really a good session where you have cleared all the doubts of the aspirants who are watching it currently, and I'm sure about it that they do not have any more doubts. So sir, at the end, do you want to say something to the aspirants who are preparing for RBI, or maybe because you have been gone through all the phases, you have been gone through the working phase as well, you have gone through the full time preparation phase as well, and along with that you have given multiple attempts of RBI, so you know how it feels, like that longing to join an organization. So I think you'd be the best person to guide all of the kind of aspirants who are watching this.
Yes, yes. So my particular advice to the aspirants will be like there will be 5, 6 statements. So first of all, you have don't need to wait for the notification to be out. You have to start if you have decided your plan or aim that you have to join RBI Grade B. Then you have to, after going through, let's say, some strategy video, you have to devise your own strategy, innovate it according to your strengths and weaknesses, and try to implement it. And another thing is, apart from this preparation and etc., you have to focus on your health and mental well-being. So I will give you my example. definitely from 2020 when that COVID etc. started, I I am continuously daily practicing the meditation of 30 minutes and also the 30 minutes physical exercise. That particular thing is there in my schedule as we do the regular choices. Okay. Another thing is during your preparation phase, you are preparing fully. Try to be away from the social media as means as far as possible. So in my case, I don't have Twitter or Instagram account as of now. Okay, and I have deactivated my Facebook account for last 2 years. So what I think, and in Telegram also, I was just spending let's say 15-20 minutes because what I observed is many aspirants they form the groups on the telegrams and we will prepare some strategy and etc. I think that is if it is group study is helping for someone, but in my particular case that was not the case. I just use the telegram to just download the required PDF of the sessions and etc. Otherwise I was not there, I was not answering their questions or etc. So that is my particular thing. If you are going to focus on that particular exam, then have your plan and try to implement it, and whenever you need a guidance, you can take that guidance from any whatever source is available. And all the best.
Right, that's beautifully put to all the aspirants. So, sir, thank you so much for joining with us, for sharing your views. I know, as I said before, I know this is a very fruitful session, and this is going to help a lot to all the aspirants. And so, all the very best for your future endeavors. There's a long road ahead, and we wish you many more successes.
Thank you, ma'am.